should be interesting this weekend, too. I would think Everett Pietila, just because his last name's Pietila, has got to be in the lineup Friday night at Michigan Tech. I looked through they've had like 7 guys named Pietila play at Michigan Tech. They got 6 Finnish players right now, right out of Finland, and then they have Kukkonen and the Pietila kid who plays on defense.
Well, the question for a while was, if your last name was Pietila, are you just committed to Michigan Tech at birth?
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of been turned on its head a little bit lately.
Well, again, you guys know my history over there a little bit pre Sault Ste. Marie, and one of the things that happened when we came here is Abby Lyala, who did sports promotions over at Michigan Tech. Abby kind of asked if we had a role for her to join in our athletic department. So Abby, I can't remember if it was year 1 or year 2, but Abby's been here 9-10 years now and is now married to DJ Goldstein. So we've got some of those Finnish ties within the program, and so we've tried hard to kind of break through the pipeline of Michigan Tech. Most all their grandparents grew up in Houghton, Hancock, Calumet, so the ties are so strong, and now they've moved down to the Detroit suburbs and the Minneapolis suburbs. But yeah, a lot of those kids like to get back home, and I had one of the Blake Pietilas. I had Blake Hietala, I had Tanner Caro, Joel Esperance, Reed Sturos. I had a lot of those young men when I coached over there, and was hoping to break the pipeline. So we started it here with Everett. Everett's done a great job for us, and we'll keep working on that. But that'll be a tough battle. There's a natural pull there, and they've done a great job with all those young men, and they've had a big impact on that program. But those Finnish ties run strong over there, and it's a proud family traditions and bloodlines that run through that program. So that's a really tough battle to win there.
It gets really confusing though when you talk about Michigan Tech's Blake Pietila, and you kind of have to sit there and go, which
I had
one?
The original New Jersey draft pick, played for the national program. He was a forward, not a goalie. So and that was again with Tanner Caro was a big piece of that turning around. I think we went from 6 wins to the number 1 team in the country a couple of years later, and Blake Pietila, Tanner Caro, Joel Esperance, Reed Sturos were all big parts of it. Others, Pete Hainen.
We had to get a Howell, Michigan phone book and just see how many Pietilas
go through there. Yeah,
just flip through the pages. Yeah.
It's a crazy the ties there, and again they're all Brighton, Howell, Heartland now, and my stepdad coached at Brighton for a million years, so he's coached many of those as well, and so it's fun to watch them, and it's hard to recruit them, but we'll keep trying. Northern Michigan's had some opportunities to recruit some and grab some as well, and so we want to continue to make that a competitive battle in the recruiting field as well.
Okay, we're going to take a break, our first of 2 in the show today. You're listening to the Laker Hockey Show, and we are live on News Talk 1400. Welcome back. Second session here in the Laker Hockey Show on a Tuesday afternoon. Lakers coming off a couple of losses at home against Bowling Green. We've now dropped 4 in a row when you go back to the series at Minnesota State, where we lost 2 tough ones, 2-1 and 3-2 in overtime. Probably deserved a much better fate in that series and certainly played well. Did not play that well this past week. Played well enough to win, but couldn't score a goal. Lose 3-0, 3-1. Now we got the tough task, Damon, of going over to Michigan Tech. It's always a big deal over there. They'll pack the place in. They make a lot of noise there. They've got a good hockey team again. Their record is 11-7-2 overall, 7-3-2 in the CCHA. That puts them up in second place right now. And 22% on the power play, 82% on the PK. Lakers are better in both those statistical categories than that. They're led by a junior transfer from New Hampshire, Russian player named Steven Sartarian. He's got 6 goals, 16 points. That's 1 fewer point than Connor Milburn of the Lakers, who leads the Lakers in scoring. Logan Morrell, a freshman for them. This is a big kid, though, 6'3", 195 pounds, 7 goals, 10 points on the season.
A lot of those coming post-Christmas.
Yeah,
he's had a great December.
He's a good player. Yeah. He has done a good job in that tournament. They just played in a tournament out of all places in Palm Springs, California.
Yeah, from the GLI out west there.
And they're a team that's on the move right now. You look at their scoring. I looked all down there. Guy like Jack Works, who's always been good for them, has got 3 goals and just 5 points on the season, and Trevor Kukkonen has just 2 goals, and that guy's always been a scorer. So let's hope they don't come to life this weekend. Isaac Gordon has only 2 goals right now. He's always been good for them. So what kind of team is Michigan Tech? And they're a different team at home than they are on the road, too.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit, but I also think they're a little different than what they've been past years. I think Joe and his staff have done a really good job. They're probably a little bit more dangerous offensively this year than they have been. Maybe it's the personnel they have. You mentioned Sardarian having a great year. He's a big part of it. Logan Morrell, you mentioned Logan as well. Like, he's had a great great return from Christmas. I mean, he was good early as well, but just really offensively caught fire. So they've been good that way. Isaac Gordon was, I think, the freshman of the year last year for the league, correct? Or the rookie of the year. You know, a little bit of a slow start from some of his numbers, but he's got it going as well. You know, they're a little bit younger than they have been. You know, they've been a team that's done a great job in either the portal or keeping their fifth-year players like the Pietla brothers. You know, they're not as experienced this year, and maybe that's helped them a little bit to be a little bit more, you know, open offensively and scoring more type thing. But yeah, I see a little bit of a different style of play, structurally a little bit different, I think, than what they've done. Maybe they wouldn't agree with that, but yeah, I think they're doing a really good job, and a lot of dangerous weapons on the team. Talked about the offense they're getting this year. Again, I don't know that their numbers the last year or 3 years have been as high there. So I think they're really dangerous offensively. They can hurt you a lot of different ways. You mentioned their special teams are both very, very strong, and they do a really good job in both those areas as well. I think a lot of really good dynamic looks on their power play. I think we played a lot of teams the last, you know, little stretch of games that really kind of had a top power play that might play a minute 20, minute 30, and a second power play that comes out. I don't see that in Michigan Tech. I see a 1A, a 1B, two, you know, very different looks and different personnel, but both very dangerous groups, both scoring and creating offensively as well.